First of all, thank you for taking time out of your evening to come and join us on our very first training, of which you can see is the nutrition training. Sarah, do you have anything to add to that particular subject?
I do. I've got a lot to add to, but I'm going to save it for when we go through the presentation. No, I'm only joking. This is Kyle. He's our main coach here, our PT at the Health Hub, and I mainly take classes. So just to introduce us first of all, and yeah, this is the first of several trainings which explore the different pillars that we believe contribute to an overall well-rounded lifestyle. And nutrition is the first one. So we thought we'd start with the things you can't go without. You can't do without food. So starting with this today, either you will know some of this information already because you've seen it before, but even if you've seen some of this information before, it's always good to have a bit of a refresh and a reboot. All right, let's do it. So the 7 key pillars are, yes, go for it.
Guys, as you can see, some of you guys who coach with us at KL, you'll understand that some of these areas are what we delve into when we're taking you guys on your nutrition journey with your coaching. These 7 areas are the fundamentals that we believe are going to help you on your way you're going to be able to take from tonight's seminar. We're going to head into calories, macronutrient breakdown and ratios, flexible dieting, the 80-20 rule, food tracking, supplementation, meal creativity, inspiration, and then your organisation and planning. Is there any of these that you're familiar with or not familiar with? Anybody? You're familiar with food tracking? Any that you're not so familiar with?
Meal creativity.
Meal creativity.
Meal creativity, hit me up with that, yeah. Okay, let's do it. So first up we're going to go with calories. The main thing that we want to get across with the calorie section is that whilst you might have a very good idea about what calories are, some people don't, and what you think you might know, you might need brushing up on. So we're not, apologies for teaching you to suck eggs effectively if you do know this information already, but we just want to hone in on the facts, and Kyle's going to hit us off.
So guys, calories. Calories are the food that we consume. In its simplest term, it is basically a unit of energy. And we have to understand, in order for us to make those unit of energies work, we have to also be expending them. That is you exercising, that's you moving around. And obviously, in order to be able to create the goal that you want, whether that's relative to weight gain, maintenance, which is you guys at your current state, or to create a calorie deficit for body fat and dropping body fat, then we need to establish where you are in that calorie balance scale. Whether that is you're consuming more than you're exercising, or whether you are exercising more than what you're consuming. You'll notice when you go in supermarket shopping that now there has been for many years, on the bottom and at the back of packages, it will highlight that there's calories on there. That's the fundamental thing that we'd like you to be able to take note of. Don't worry about anything else that you can see on there, potassium, all the vitamins on there. There's something that you'd look at later on. The rule and the king is the calories. Also as well, we've had a bit of a debate in the WhatsApp pod recently about restaurants over a certain size have actually started putting calories onto their menus. Is there anybody here who has a particular opinion on that? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love it.
Put your hand up if you're for. Are you for the calorie majority? Can I dare ask somebody why? Why are you for?
Tallying up what you're having through the day, and if you go out for a meal, you know how much you've got left and how many you've actually had, rather than making it up.
And it helps you keep on track, I imagine, yeah. There's a lot of, so I find it helpful. I think that I like to live in denial a little bit when I'm not dead set on tracking my nutrition and paying attention to where I'm at, and when I'm not trying to hit certain goals, I'm a little bit more on the side of I'd rather be ignorant to it. I'm like, la la la, there can't be that many calories in that. But obviously it's not helpful if you do have certain goals and you do want to be aware of where you're going, and you're wondering why the measurements aren't coming off, or whatever it is, the way that you're tracking. It's nice to know that maybe that is where it is. So I can appreciate why they are on the menu, but I have to confess that I tend to be a little bit ignorant to it. So one of the things that Carl was talking about there then is that you get this information when you're in the supermarket, and a lot of it, and we really want to stress, is a lot of noise. So initially, we just want you to focus on calories. We're going to go into the breakdown of some of those calories and 3-4 specific groups of food that you might look into, but mostly what's going in and what's going out.
Awesome.
Okay, so.
Guys, moving on into this particular chart. Has anybody seen this chart before? Okay, this is your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. Yours, each of you guys will differ to one another. Mine's different to Sarah's, mine's different to Alan's, etc. You'll notice this is broken down into four particular areas. The biggest one you can see at the bottom is your basal metabolic rate. We're going to take Sarah as a perfect example. Sarah, essentially, in order for her to live and exist, this is what makes up for her expenditure. This makes up the most. So sleeping, that's her organs doing all of her bodily roles that it needs to.
Blood moving around, my breathing, all the stuff that you don't notice that you take for granted. That's me just existing on the planet doing nada.
And
not moving.
That obviously changes whether you're female, male, etc. We move on then into NEAT. Has anybody heard of NEAT? Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, again taking Sarah as an example, this is Sarah moving a hell of a lot, cleaning. How much does she move around in classes? Sarah's expending a lot of calories in the process of not really paying attention. So if you're in a sedentary job, office-based, I know Alan, we can use you as an example. The doctor had said you were very, very inactive. Although he's a very fit bloke, he trains a lot, does a lot of running, he's actually an inactive person. So if we can try and maximise on this expenditure, getting moving more. It might be that you park further away at the supermarket. It might be that you park further away at the office. You don't necessarily try and cut corners. Take the stairs instead of the elevator, etc.
I have like a small water bottle and Kyle goes crazy in classes because when I'm on his classes, I'm constantly going back to the tap to fill the water bottle. But when I'm at work, a lot of the time, even though I'm a teacher, there will be periods of time where I'm sat down at my desk and it's an opportunity for me to have to go to a walk fountain, which is in the middle of the building, and I go there and come back, and that will increase my calories over the day. I mean, me and Kyle are literally doing NEAT right now. We're stood up, we're taking for granted that we're here talking with you guys, we're stepping about, we're moving around, our bodies are moving, and we're burning calories more so than if we were just sat here or if we were just sat at home watching TV. So it is those little bits of get up, move around, take the washing out, offer to be the person who goes to the supermarket, get the dog out, wash your own car, those little bits of things that you feel like you need to do. Do that extra trip. Instead of doing that thing where you get out of the car and you think, I'm doing one trip into the house with all my shopping bags, do the individual trips. Rather than dropping your milk on the steps, do the individual trips and get more steps in. Next up, you know about this one?
Thermic effect of foods. Anybody heard of that? Okay, so the foods that you consume and that you're digesting play a huge role in the process of actually expending calories. So you'll find these particular foods here, lean meats, nuts, avocados, we've got dark chocolate, will use a lot more calories in its digestion process than perhaps potatoes and carbohydrates. So when we talk about protein, it essentially, Sarah used a good analogy yesterday about, was it an apple, celery?
Yeah, so I heard this like random theory, like you know, like in passing years ago or whatever, whereas like if you eat an apple in the form of an apple without cutting it up or whatever, you burn the calories eating the apple in the process of eating the apple, because it's 50 calories, for example, an average apple, and you'll use 50 calories having to eat it, chew it, digest it, because of the type of food it is. So if you can get any more of these types of food just into your diet, they're going to obviously give you that energy, but you're burning calories just for the process of getting them in. And they have a little bit of variety to it. And then finally what we've got is EAT, which is your exercise. Now the thing that really shocked me when I saw this is, I'm at this gym most days, I know Charlotte is too, I know lots of you are, we're here most of the time, and look how small the percentage is. So you think, oh my God, I'm absolutely killing it at the gym, I'm in that gym every day, or I did that half an hour class and I was sweating and I was exhausted afterwards, and look how small the percentage is. So actually, if you can get that NEAT up, I mean, this bit is you just being alive, so you know, you're doing your bit already, but if you can get NEAT up, which is a fairly big percentage, then you're going to be burning calories just going about your everyday life, instead of coming here, killing it, being exhausted, not coming back the next day, or not keeping it up. Okay? How to manage? These are things that we just literally said before, so these would be like your tips. You'll be able to have a look at this online afterwards, guys, for you guys who are here. But if you want to take a note, if you want to take a picture or anything like that on your phone, that's fine too. So it's like walking to the gym. My car is literally parked on the other side of the co-op car park, and it is every single time. And every single time I come to this gym, I walk here and I walk back, I get those extra steps in. So like you said, taking the stairs on the lift, organising and preparing your food in advance, doing exercise you enjoy. So I've started on the running club. I go running with Charlotte, with Elle. She's laughing because she's thinking, did you really enjoy, Louise is laughing too, do you really enjoy running at 6 o'clock in the morning, Sarah? But it is just doing that thing with your friends, getting you there. I was going to bail this morning, Charlotte made me go. So doing things you enjoy and doing it with other people is good too.
Okay, so this one is the money shot. So obviously, those who do one-to-one coaching, you always get your calories worked out, etc. These are the basic principles and equations that we use in order to try and find that out. If you want, guys, obviously you will get access to this. If you do want to work these out for yourself, take a quick picture of that. Otherwise, we will send that out at a later date.
Calculate right now, do it now, so you can see like exactly right. That's how many calories I can have, and then you'll know.
Let's take Sarah into consideration here. So we're going to take Sarah's body weight in pounds, which is 160. Yeah, this is a guesstimate. So the same for you guys. If you're not sure where your weight is right now, that's fine. I want you to take a quick guesstimate. You might want to get your calculator out to work it out as we're going along. You'll notice.
Do it. You've got your phone. That's why we keep saying it.
There are two lots of numbers here, in which we always favour the higher number when we are trying to calculate clients' calories. We want to make sure we're creating sustainability. We want to make sure that we are allowing a bit of wiggle room and bedding in when we're hitting the initial start and calorie phases. So you'll notice Sarah's got between 1600 and 1920 calories.
If you times it by 10, you've got 1600. If you times my body weight by 12, you've got 1920. So Kyle's saying that if I was starting off and I was doing check-ins with Kyle, for example, we'd start off on the higher higher calories, absolutely. So I'd start by having 19, 20 to begin with, and then it might be, we were talking about this last night, we were saying over time it might be that we reduce them after we see how my body responds to it. So the one thing that I always find the most fascinating is a little bit of maths for you, is that in a pound of fat, people talk about losing a pound of fat, if in a pound of fat there's 3,500 calories, so if you divide 3,500 calories by 7 days in a week, that gives you 500 calories a day. So if you can lose 500 calories a day, either by eating, say for example, 250 less and exercising 250 more, if you did that over the course of a week, then that would be your pound of fat per week. So this is where, yeah, there are lots of diets out there that suggest that you do this, you eat at that time, you eat only that type of food. But actually when you break it down to the bare bones and get it down to the maths, if you deficit 500 calories a day, in theory there are lots of other things that come into play as well, but over the course of a week, over 7 days, that would be a pound of fat. Equally, 1,000 calories would be, which is difficult, not as sustainable, would be 2 pounds of fat per week. So you can literally, and it helps me keep control on it when I think, well, if I don't have that 500 on that day, then if I don't bank it effectively, if I don't have that 500 on that day, well then I'm not going to get to that pound of fat by the end of the week. So it helps me keep control and manage it in my mind. These calculations are for if you exercise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you'll notice, guys, the numbers are increasing the more you are, the more active you are. Simple science. So essentially, I personally will be going through this 3 to 5 per week. So naturally, my calories are going to sit a little bit higher, and I will adjust then dependent on what the feedback I'm getting of my physique each week, whether I do measurements, whether I do pictures. So that's what you would be doing, playing a bit of cat and mouse, seeing where the calories are. Make sure you're tracking regular. Make sure you're being accurate with that, and decreasing as you're going along.
Awesome. Okay, so top tips, track calories via MyFitnessPal. I'm going to get into that in a second. Use this formula to work out what your calories are to start with and whether you want to deficit or you want to increase them. Of course, I'm using the example of decreasing them at the moment, but it might very well be that you want to gain some weight and therefore you would increase them using the same principle. High volume, low calorie food, so get your plates full but with lower calorie foods and increase your lean meats too. Okay, so then we're moving on to the macronutrients. So we've done the base level of foundations, which is calories, and now we're going to work out how each of those calories sort of add up on your plate. So beginning with protein.
Does any foods on there look familiar, guys, to you? Absolutely. I know it's quite, sometimes I can take it for granted to say, right, okay, I want you to increase your protein. Some people aren't really aware of what food holds a lot of protein. So you'll understand again in your own separate packs that you'll get sent out where you can increase your protein from. But again, just take a quick look at that. There are obviously plant-based options as well. It isn't just meat-based. So, protein, what we're going to do, we're going to give you a quick example of what it does for you. Sarah's then going to break down what that actually means for you, and then what we can do to try and increase that protein. So, essentially, what we want to understand, protein is a massive tool to help repair and rejuvenate your body. It's so important for cell repair, for growth, it's to help build strength, and essentially, how that then doubles down to you guys is making sure, because you're training a lot, you are very active, you've got to be repairing yourself at the same time. So getting the right nutrients in from protein is going to essentially make you perform better in the training that you've got. You're going to recover better, you're going to feel stronger in the training as well. And Sarah did use a really good example of a dad.
My dad, for many, many years, always had a rowing machine, just at home. Before he had a rowing machine, he used to have a cross trainer. And I think it's like an older mindset, not because of his age, but it's just in terms of the way that health and nutrition has developed over the years. It used to be very popular that it was literally like smash out the exercise, smash it out at all costs, that's all that matters. And so he would literally go on his cross trainer at home. I remember being young, now he has a rower and he will go on and on and on it for a long period of time. And over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, he's had really, really bad knees, he's got kind of bad hips, he's got bad knees, and we've only started recently, through me learning more about nutrition, actually breaking down what his diet's made up of and realising that he's wasting away all this muscle on this rower all the time. And then, it used to be that he had a very active job as well as an electrician, and then not putting anything in. So it's just like draining away. Now he doesn't have the support around his joints. Now he's got bad knees. He finds it difficult to walk up the driveway. And since he started to improve his protein, get more protein in, even just through introducing a protein bar or a protein shake after that workout, he's noticed already that he feels a little bit stronger, he's better on the road, he doesn't have to do it for as long to get as much out of it, and more importantly, he's walking a lot better. So that's very effective on him now because he's far down the line of exercise. My dad's in his 60s, he's been doing it for a long time, but actually it still applies for us now, it applies for me now. If I was coming here, hitting hitbox over and over again, bouncing up and down on my joints, not looking after them and giving my body what they need, over a period of time, over a long period of time, I would wear my muscles away and they would no longer do what I need them to do. So, like Kyle was saying, it's part of the main function of your body, it's going to help you build strength. If you're coming in here and you're lifting the big weights and you want to get stronger, protein is a really big part of that. And then as well as that, big one for me is not getting ill. If I take protein out of my diet, or if I'm constantly just reaching for a chocolate bar for a quick bit of energy, or a slice of toast here, or whatever it is, and I'm not getting the protein in, I notice that I get ill, especially because I'm here often and I'm doing a lot. And a big one, probably for most of you guys, is it makes you feel full. If you've ever had a protein bar instead of a really sugary cereal bar, you'll notice, oh my god, I'm stuffed now, I feel full. And it might be calorie for calorie. So actually, if you're looking to decrease your calories, having a protein bar instead of something sugary is going to make you last longer throughout the day without reaching for something else.
Few tips just to try and increase that protein intake. Start it with the first meal of your day, whether that is at 12 p.m, whether that's 7 a.m. Try and increase it early on as possible. And also I find when I have looked at food diaries, some people may track 50 grams of chicken. Try and have double that, try and have treble that. Start to increase the volume of the serving of which you're having. Just goes a long way, and before you know it, by the end of the day, you're finished. You're upward near the targets that you set. And essentially, I don't know if you can see that at the bottom there, if you want to take a quick screenshot as to working out where your protein would be, it is between 1.2 grams and 2.2 grams per kilogram of your body weight. So that gives you a bit of a protein target as well as your calories.
Kyle, if we were using me as an example again, I'll put you on the spot here because we haven't actually thought about this, but I was thinking about this today. How much protein, just probably to shock people, would I need in my day, would you say, in your experience?
Between 90 and 165 grams of protein.
And there might be 30 in a chicken breast?
Yes.
So it's a lot of protein, that's what I should be having. If I'm not hitting those protein goals, I'm depleting myself all the time. So it is literally, get the protein bar in, have the protein shake. Obviously your more natural versions, like chicken or plant-based options are better, but get the protein in would be the key.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Alright, so next up we've got carbohydrate. Yes! The good stuff. Okay. So, same thing again here. So, Carl's going to tell you what they do for you. I'm going to tell you what that means in real terms, and then we're going to tell you how to get them in. But we're going to speed it up.
Yes, we are. Essentially, carbohydrates, they are the most readily available source of energy, guys. So essentially, I've known for a long time, and I used to do this myself, I used to restrict carbohydrates because I did think that they would allow me to drop weight. They would drop weight due to the position that they hold with water. There's a lot of water retention with that, but they should not be avoided whatsoever. They're often demonized, they're often avoided after 6 p.m. because we feel that we're going to gain fat if we eat them at 10 o'clock at night. Your body does not know the difference between 10 p.m. 10 a.m. So eat them when you like. Don't worry too much about the type of carbohydrates you're eating as well. Yes, there are better ones more than the other, but essentially go with what you enjoy, what's convenient for you and the family, and also, again, whilst you're tracking them calories, you're going to be able to understand how many carbohydrates you're going to need.
What this means for you is that if you think about Kim Kardashian and Met Gala recently, she got into that beautiful Marilyn Monroe dress and was packed everywhere saying that she went on this really restricted diet where she had no carbs for like a month or whatever it was. And what happened was she looked fantastic at the Met Gala, and then afterwards she was posting all over Instagram eating donuts and pizza, and what will have happened is it will have all just gone immediately back on, because a lot of that weight that she lost, while she did look fantastic, was due to the glucose and the water that she shed in that time. She has a bite of pizza, it goes back. It's not that dramatic, but it happened immediately, but that's effectively what happened. So yeah, it's great if you want to look great for one night, but that's not what we're here for, it isn't what we're promoting. So a really good example, just a quick one. This morning I didn't feel like going for that run with Charlotte and Louise. I was like, no, not for me. I was really tired. I've been at the gym a lot this week, and I, instead of trying to do it fasting, which I normally would do without eating anything, I had one of those, I'm going to say it wrong now because you would call it sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. A serene little malt lunchbox thing. It's like 100 calories. I didn't want to eat too much because I didn't want to get stitched whilst I was running, but I had that little bit of energy, which was quite high in carbohydrates. I had it. I ran better. It meant I went for the run. It meant that I burned more calories than I'd eaten anyway. I was better for the run mentally, and I improved my running performance overall over time. So if it's going to help you, have the squares bar, have the quick bagel before you come in, because actually performing better at the gym, it isn't just about depleting yourself. And then other than that, yeah, good energy overall. They taste good, like I want to eat pizza, sorry. And if I deprive myself of pizza, I'll get to the end of that restricted diet, I'll eat the pizza, and we'll go round and round and round. So here's what you can do to make sure that you get the right amount of carbohydrates in.
It does vary on person to person, guys. For me, if you prefer carbohydrates over fat, then do that. If you prefer fats over carbs, then switch that around. Don't worry too much about the grams that you're consuming. Again, protein and calories.
Okay, fat's the devil. Okay, it's not really the devil, but in my mind for so long it always has been. I think I talk about Matt. He cooks a lot of my meals because he's very kind and he looks after me very well. I'm always here. But I would always be terrified he was going to like put olive oil in a pan and think like, oh my god, don't do that. Only use 1 calorie spray. Like if anything was fatty, I'd just be like, oh no. And actually I was, again, depleting myself, not getting the nutrients that I needed by doing that all the time. 1 cal spray is great if you're watching your calories and if you want to use your calories elsewhere, but never getting them in, never having the olives, never having the fatty fish, never having the avocado. You are depriving your body. So, what it does for you, very quickly, Kyle?
Small amount of fat is obviously essential for your immune system support. So there's a lot of times that I've put clients on a higher fat diet due to them particularly getting ill quite a lot. It could be that we're seeing a lot of dry skin. It could be that the hair quality and the nails essentially aren't doing what a body should do, whether that is female or male. And by increasing those fats, whether that's coming from fatty fish, whether it's supplementation, whether it's avocados, whether that's eggs, Sarah used a really good point yesterday. How good would you feel if your hair is shining a hell of a lot more, that you're feeling less ill, you are bouncing back from colds quicker? These are the things that really help towards making you feel a lot more alive and more rejuvenated. So essentially, you don't want to be avoiding fats. Yes, the higher calories, but they're very, very essential when you're wanting to improve your overall healthy lifestyle.
Allowing a few calories for them is really important, because you can spend the time putting the nice creams on your face and things like that, but your skin comes from within, your nails do. If they're getting brittle, if your hair's looking dull, if your skin has no glow, the very best thing that you can do initially is make sure that you've got some of those healthy fats in your diet. So the way to get them in,
don't be afraid of increasing your fat intake in moderation, simple as that. Keep an eye on the calories as you're increasing these. So you'll find spreads, sauces, mayonnaise, oils, etc. are quite calorific for the small amount of volume that you'll get. So don't avoid them when you're tracking them. It's often that clients have come to the end of the week and be like, why am I not losing body fat? And we break down the diaries a little bit more, and essentially they've skipped tracking all these little things that add up, essentially putting maybe another 500 calories on top of your overall intake. So just bear that in mind. Don't always think that fat-free products are the best as well. It's often that I put clients on higher fat products, full-fat yogurt, full-fat milk, because, again, it's an essential part. Don't always be trying to search for fat-free. And then, again, we'll touch on that. Consume them in moderation.
okay, and then fibre, I believe, is it?
Fibre.
Yes, fibre, alright. So, this is the thing that makes you poop. Okay, so, go for it. What does it do for you?
Fibre basically helps your digestion. So you'll find if you haven't had enough fibre, you could end up being constipated, or if you've had too much fibre, you'll often not be able to get off the toilet. So there is a fine amount of fibre intake that you want to be looking at having per day. It does differ male to female. If males are consuming a lot more calories, then they're going to warrant having a bit more fibre to help with the digestion of that food. It's important to know the food that you're consuming has to be able to be digested, utilised as a nutrient, and then obviously excreted. So the importance of fibre plays a huge role of transporting the carbohydrates, the fats and the protein around your body.
The big thing I'll say about what it means to you is lots of people constantly talk about being bloated, and you might get your fats right, you might get your carbs right, you might get your protein right, but ultimately, if that food, if you imagine it moving down the timeline, if it gets stuck in the middle and it's hanging out there, and you're putting more food in and it's hanging out there, all of a sudden, your belly looks bigger, you look bloated, and it's a big part of fibre. So having that smoothie that's full of really good fruits or fruit and vegetables, and getting your fibre in whatever way works for you is helpful for making things do effectively what they should do. What's the point in having those great fats, that good protein, if it isn't getting to where it needs to get to in your body? So you do need to make sure that you include the fibre and that you're having it steadily if you can. So not just one big bout of fibre at the beginning of your day. If you can incorporate throughout your day, then it's going to help with your digestion all the way throughout your day. Okay, let's do it.
So we'll quickly touch on just how you're going to be able to spread those calories out, breaking them down into protein, carbs and fats. So let's break them down into, we'll put them into 3 meals and some snacks. So if you were to have protein first thing in the morning, that could look as simple as Greek yogurt, that could be a cooked breakfast, it could be eggs, avocado, it could be lean turkey rashers. You might have some fruit in there as well from the fibre and some carbohydrates. Take yourself to your lunch, that could be sweet potato, it could be jacket potato, it could be again some lean meats within there, and you can get side salad if you want. Evening meal, again replicating what you're doing at lunch, but be a little bit more flexible with that, as you guys as a family are going to typically eat together. So you want to make sure that it's all easy and convenient for you guys to eat at the same time. Snacks, do just be wary that obviously some snacks out there can be quite high calories. Make sure you're accounting for them, tracking them, but also I know you guys on the pod, you're good at sharing low calorie snacks on there.
Yeah, and then they go out of stock.
Yes.
In the supermarket, and nobody can get them. So actually, if you're here right now, like, tell me first secretly that I can go and get some before you tell everybody else where these goodies are. Okay, so top tips for that: start off your day with protein. Carl mentioned that before. Supplements are a good idea. Don't be scared of having a protein bar. If you know, like you don't have to have everything organically and naturally. If it's helpful for you, just have a protein shake. Great, do it. Make quick swaps of your food to help the quality. So, like, how hard is it to eat a piece of wholemeal bread instead of a piece of white bread? That's going to increase your fibre. Make sure you include fats in your diet too. And evening carbs are not bad. A piece of toast at 10 p.m. at night is the same amount of calories as a piece of toast at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to eat it later on and you saved your calories, have it then. Don't panic. Alright, so flexible dieting. This is if you want a Prosecco of the weekend. Sorry, Charlotte. Okay.
So 80% of the high quality foods that we've just talked about, and then 20% of the good stuff, the Prosecco, the pizzas, the kebabs, etc. This is one rule of thumb that we believe helps with sustainability with you guys who coach with us. If you're not implementing this particular methodology, be prepared that at some point your adherence is going to drop, and it's going to be a lot tougher to try and stick to what you're doing. So, let's have a quick look at what a typical week of flexible dieting will look like. You'll notice through that particular week we have moved the green and the blue calories up and down. That number there will equate to your overall calorie intake that you need in order to drop body fat. Let's say that's your goal. And you'll notice that it's not a set amount all the way through the week. We want you to be flexible. So if you guys go out and eat out on a Monday night, then make room for the calories on that Monday. Just drop a little bit more on Tuesday. But overall, we're balancing to make sure that your books come into what you're essentially earning overall. What we can use as an example is Sarah earns £14,000 a week.
Thank you.
She's really well paid. £14,000 a week. That means her allowance for that particular week per day is £2,000. And if she's going over those £2,000 over the week, at some point she's going to go into her overdraft, she's going to get charged for that, which is a surplus, therefore she's going to gain body fat. So, again, balancing those books where you can, that is done via you tracking your food, being more accountable to the NEAT and the movement and the exercise that you're doing and the types of food that you're consuming. The blue area that you can see, Sarah, explain what that is.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. If I went all week and I literally, if it was like green all week, and I was just eating salads every day and just getting all my protein, my fibre, in, and every time somebody said, do you fancy a brownie, or do you want that, or do you want, I'm at work and someone's brought some chocolates in, or whatever, and I go, no, I'm dieting, that's it, no way. I get like green, and I hit here, usually about the weekend is personal to me, but it might apply to you as well, and I'm like, right, I've had enough. I've worked hard all week, I've been good all week, right, that's it now, I'm having a blowout. And all of a sudden I'm eating like 5,000 calories, and then well, what was the point in doing it all week? Because I've gone over my calorie allowance for the week overall. So what you can do then is by cutting them down earlier in the week. Say for example, when I'm not bothered on a Monday night about what I'm really eating, or I'll go home tonight, I don't really care what I'm having on a Thursday, I've been busy, I get home later, whatever it is for you. If you can have your healthier meals then, or if you can cut a few calories then effectively, and save them, if I say 100 calories on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I've now got 500 calories for the weekend. So bob onto the top of my Saturday allowance, I'm still keeping to my goals overall for the week, but yes, I can have that gin and tonic, yes I can have that glass of Prosecco, that slice of pizza or whatever it may be. The more that you save over the course of the week, the more that you've got to spend on Saturday and Sunday. So it's how it works for you. For me, I don't care what I eat on a Tuesday night, and I will care when it's Saturday and my friends are saying, do you want this, or do you want to go there, or my family's saying, let's get together for a meal. So that's where I would like to use my currency, my calorie currency, or my currency in what I eat and when I eat it. So if you know that applies to you, save them on a Monday, bank them on a Saturday.
Food tracking. Who here does actually food track? Awesome, good. If not, I think it's obviously something that would give you a little bit of an insight. Tracking food is an incredibly insightful tool to get you to understand what you're consuming, how much you're consuming, what you're missing out on, what you need to add a little bit more on into your diet as well. There are two particular tracking apps that we use. We've got MyFitnessPal and there's NutriCheck, dependent on what you guys want to use. Food tracking isn't the holy grail, but it's an important tool that we believe is going to speed you up on your journey in order to understand nutrition
and it might
a
not
better
be
way.
your thing that you do forever. Like, I remember in my early 20s, I lost quite a bit of weight, and the way that I did it, all of a sudden I understood what calories were, and I did it using MyFitnessPal. Because I used MyFitnessPal during that period of my life, I now just have a better awareness that if I have, like I said before, like if I have a chicken breast, I know that it's 30 grams, it's probably going to be X amount of calories, so I do a lot of, and you said it yourself, like we do a lot of eyeballing now, we go, that's roughly about that, unless we're aiming towards a specific goal. So it might not be that you have to be glued to your phone on MyFitnessPal forever, but actually just gaining a little bit of awareness, even for a month or two, so that then you can do it a bit more organically later on. The really good thing about MyFitnessPal is we're giving you so much information, and this beautiful app is going to just organise it for you. You're going to put in that you had I don't even know, a Hunter's chicken from Morrison's, and it knows the calories, the protein, whatever else goes into it, and it's doing it all for you. And all you have to do is scan a barcode or type in what you have, and it will just do all of the brain work for you in the background.
Again, just touching on those two apps, guys, if you've not tracked your food before.
Should I track my alcohol?
Absolutely. That's one thing when I first ever started tracking. Charlotte, do you?
No.
That's sometimes though, that is, again, there's two things. It could be the ignorance aspect, but also where do you even start when you're tracking alcohol? Because you got to the end of the night and you're thinking, shit, did I have 2 bottles of wine or 7 pints? We're unsure. So yeah, essentially, when you have got that specific goal in mind, you should be tracking everything. And essentially, it might just
It's helpful to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's helpful to do it beforehand. I was just thinking, if you said it then, like you get to the end of the night, yeah, I might be able to remember that I had 7 pints. So do I want to admit it to myself? I'm hungover. I feel bad. Now I want a pizza. Like my head's killing me. I'm not likely to sit there with my MyFitnessPal and go 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, it's good to do, not in hindsight, but to do before it happens. To do proactively. I'm going out tonight. I've got an idea. If I'm being realistic, that I might have 2 bottles of Prosecco, so I'm going to put them in, or I'm going to have that in mind when I'm going through my week, and I don't care what I'm eating on Monday, but I'm going out with the girls on Saturday, I'll probably want 2 bottles of Prosecco, so I'll get ready for it, I'll prepare myself during the week so that I can have it and still reach my goals. What do I do about all this exercise I'm doing then? So do I have my 1900 calories and then give myself an extra 300 because I came and did a class tonight, or not?
So you'll find when you have tracked your food, if you've added your expenditure into that particular app, it will give you a surplus of amount of calories that you've expended. Some of the questions that we do get is, should I be eating those back? In which Sarah said, essentially, no. This is obviously relative to your goals. It'd be nice to add those 400 calories back on, but that's going to slow down the process of the goal of which you're trying to reach.
So see the class as a bonus. Do your, in my example, the 1900 calories, and then come and do the class and just have them as a bonus, like they're going to contribute to your progress overall, rather than just immediately eating them back because you came here and you. It's the age-old thing that used to be really common in like the 90s and the 80s and the 90s, where it was like, you know, how long does it take to burn off a Mars bar? Like, we're not here to burn food off. You're in the gym because it improves your mental health, it makes you feel great, you socialise, it improves the composition of your body, it makes you stronger if that's what you want to be, it improves your posture, your joints, your lifestyle overall, and you're not. Ideally, yes, it helps you maintain your weight, but you're not here to come and kill yourself because you had that slice of pizza last night. That's not what we're advocating here anyway.
I do just want to quickly touch on that as well. The trackers of which are showing the calories you've expended aren't accurate. They're a consistent inaccuracy, so just bear that in mind. If you're going off, oh, I have expended 250 calories, the likelihood of them being accurate or not actual. You have to be physically plugged in to a machine in a lab down in London to understand the actual amount of calories that you are expending. So just bear that in mind. Take it with a pinch of salt. The consistent inaccuracy is what you're looking for.
Okay, what can I do in terms of
Eating out.
out?
So first off, look at the menu before you head out. That could be that you find that online. It could be that you find it on the Facebook page. As we just recently discussed earlier, they actually do put some of the calories on top of the menus as well. That's a fantastic start. Plan your meals ahead. That's a big one. I used to do that a hell of a lot when I was on my first ever fat loss diet, and I understand, right, okay, what have they got on the menu? and how can I plan out my day in order to accommodate that. So again, balancing the book aspects, I'm not going to consume a normal breakfast and lunch knowing I'm going to go in the evening and eat a 2,500-3,000 calorie meal. I'll just make sure I'm making the room up. Pick healthier options, so instead of having chips, have potatoes, but again, remember balance, and it might be that because you want some chips, you might not have the dessert or the starter. Balance everything out that you want there.
Have 2 courses rather than having 3, or overestimate the calories. The chances are that they did put the oil in when they made that meal because they want it to taste fantastic, they want to break a view, they want it to go back, assume it's there, and then if it isn't there, fantastic, you've saved some calories, but at least you've not under-egged it effectively. Matt likes cooking my tea.
Just want to quickly touch on that one. Most importantly, please go out and do these things.
Yeah.
From a sustainability and adherence aspect. Do not avoid them. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Matt's making my dinner. He loves making a specific type of, let's say, he loves making a curry. It's really creamy. It's his favourite thing to make. And we have it, he likes to make it for me once a week. So am I supposed to say no to that, or what do I do?
No, absolutely not. Again, coming back to the aspect here, just make sure you're banking some calories up for that meal. If that's your guys' time to socialise, sit down together, you don't want to be saying, mate, please can you just start weighing that out? If you want to do that, absolutely fine. It'll give you a bit more accuracy. But for me, when I go home and Elle's made tea, I'm not dissecting that meal gram for gram to understand what calories are in it. I'm just going to make sure that if she's made a pizza, if she's made a pizza on a Friday night, I know that I don't tend to have breakfast and I have a very, very light lunch because the pizza we once tracked were about 4,000 calories.
Say yes to the run that you got offered.
Yes.
Like, say no to the cake that they offer at work and then have the pizza on Friday night, for example, yeah. Alright, we're getting to the end now. So this is kind of like, ideally in an ideal world, you're going to be able to eat all of these fantastic things. You're going to be able to remember them all. You're going to be able to know what goes into everything. But we're trying to give you some easy options to make sure that you're doing that in the most realistic way possible. So MyFitnessPal is going to help you track them and keep an eye on what's going on so you don't have to remember everything. And supplementation is going to make up for the things that you just might not be able to get in with the calories you've got and everything else you've got going on in your life. So vitamin C to start with is a big one. It's really big in like the health and beauty industry, which is, I want to say that it's great in terms of healing wounds and making sure that you don't get chronic diseases. Of course, it's incredibly important. But a lot of what certainly my generation and the world that we live in now focuses towards is what you physically look like on the outside, and that contributes towards your confidence and things like that. So you might be increasing your collagen, which gives you nice supple skin. That collagen isn't going to be able to work properly without you having vitamin C. Equally, your skin isn't going to have that same glow without vitamin C. You're not going to feel as awake, you're not going to look as bright. So if you can't get vitamin C into your diet, if you don't want to start eating citrusy fruits or loads of vegetables, if they're not for you, taking a vitamin C supplement is going to make the difference. And then vitamin D, we don't all necessarily get out in the sunshine all the time, so...
This is one of the most important things. Since COVID's come about, the pandemic, the government has actually recommended every single person in the UK should be taking a vitamin D supplement. You can also derive that from food. Mushrooms, I believe, are quite high in vitamin D. I'm not a big fan of them, so I do supplement itself. It boosts your mood. There's obviously immunity aspects, so your immune system support, that's a huge one. Arthritis, I've actually only just discovered that. It does help lower the risk of arthritis, so that's one thing now for me. I know I'll be recommending that to my family members, as that's something that's hereditary and that's coming through the family chain.
Especially if you like the kind of exercise that's heavy impacts on your joints. If you're an avid runner or you do things like hip hops or anything like that, you've got a lot of impact over and over. Take the vitamin D, it's going to really help you look out for your joints overall over time. Okay, so next supplementation we've got is omega-3. It's going to lower your blood pressure, you're going to reduce any chance of reduce the chance of abnormal heart rhythms, prevent onset Alzheimer's, which is a big one, boost your immune system and improve your bone health. And then we've got creatine.
Creatine, it basically helps your performance and your recovery. Again, when it's looking at building muscle, the strength that you've got when you are perhaps going running, when you're in the gym, creatine plays a huge role. It's good for both female and male. It is the most studied enhancement product on the planet, and essentially is, what would the terminology be for being drug-free that you can have, not steroids, etc. There's a lot of questions around that, whether or not is it a steroid, etc. It's not. It's a really safe supplement and product to have.
It is a men replace your meals. This is a big one. So this is kind of like, be realistic with yourself is the thing that we're saying all the way through. If I'm realistic with myself about what I'm going to do at the weekend, I'm going to have the bottle of Prosecco. So if I'm realistic about the fact that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be honest with myself on Monday, then I can be prepared for the week. If I tell myself that I'm going to get in all the fruit and veg, I'm going to get all the fat, fish and my omega-3, I'm going to get in all the mushroom, at the beginning of the week, and I lie to myself that I'm going to do all of these things, actually, am I going to be getting the nutrients I need? Or if I'm realistic with myself and I go, do you know what, Sarah? You ain't going to eat all those mushrooms, all that fruit and veg, all of those other things that you need. So actually, if you just take a supplement, will that be better? So be realistic. Don't spend millions of pounds on them. Buy from trusted sources. And then read on them before you use them. And protein powders are okay to have. Meal inspo. Now we're hitting the end of our last slide. I know that we've been talking for a while. It's because there's so much information we want to give you it all. So meal inspo. This is the bit where that gets you organised. It's kind of like the fun bit, I suppose. Like the most helpful thing.
Essentially, with all that information is great, but if you don't understand how to go away and apply it, it means fuck all. So just bear that in mind. One thing that I wanted to touch on here is less headaches. And it gives you time back by being more inspired by what you're consuming and being more organised. Sarah's biggest fear is time. So by her being more organised in advance as to what she's consuming, when in advance, and planning those meals way in advance, it's just going to give her less headaches. It's also going to help increase her energy because she's going to be able to make sure she's sticking to those daily targets that she's been set, the 1,920 calories. Because she's organised, she'll be able to stick to that more.
Something that's proven to exhaust you over the course of the day is how many decisions you make. You make thousands of decisions every day. What am I going to wear? Where is that thing? What time do I need to leave? What did I say I was going to do? You're making decisions constantly throughout your day that's exhausting you. Actually, when I'm on track with tracking, when that's a part of what I'm doing every day, I used to literally, and I will do this in the future, next time I use my FitnessPal, I sit on a Sunday and I go, that's what I'm having on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I make that decision once. It might take me half an hour on Sunday. Now I don't make a decision all week. I just go to the fridge, I pick up that thing, I have that meal, that's what I said I'd have. And it allows me to stay on track, but it removes the exhaustion and the time involved in making how many decisions you make in a day about how many things you eat. 3 if you have 3 square meals, 5 if you have snacks. Like, take out the hassle, make the decision on Sunday if Sunday works for you, and then just do what you said you'd do.
The biggest one for me is improving your habits and behaviours. Sarah made a really good point yesterday. I had not looked at it from this aspect, but if you're not organised on one specific area that's relative to your goals, that will actually start to drip feed into other areas of your life as well. That could start to show your down regulation of your performance at work, your relationships with your family, your friends. If you are not organised, like I said, it does just transfer across, so bear that in mind. If you get on top of your shit in other areas, that's going to help in other areas as well. It's across the board. It's not just food, but it's everything else. Meal planning can be a nightmare. Essentially, I know that's one of the biggest things sometimes. Sit down as a family to plan these meals out. What do you all enjoy? Get the children involved in making the meals. Is it that you cook for family and friends at a weekend? Get a bit of an enjoyment out of it. Don't see it as a chore. And like I said, be inspired by what you're doing.
Remove as many decisions as possible. Always have something Mexican on a Wednesday, so it might differ week to week. You might have tacos one week, meats the next week, chili the week after that, nachos, whatever it is. But if you always have Mexican on Wednesday, then you know that's what you're doing. If you always have a type of pasta on Monday, you know that's what you're doing. So if you remove the decision you've got to make, it becomes less exhausting, and then you can be more creative within the realms of what you decided with you, your family, or whoever you live with, whoever you're eating with as well. Fix your toughest meal. Yeah.
Try different foods. Don't be afraid of doing that. cook the meals together as a family, as we said. Have the same meal twice. I know a lot. I have the same meal quite often. It just less headache, less friction. I understand what's what. I know what
I love
I'm
this
doing.
one. Create 4 different meals for each month. So if you only have to sit down at the beginning of the month and go, right, I am sick to death of eating shepherd's pie every week, then for this month, just for May, introduce 4 new recipes, cook them over and over again for 4 weeks, and then change it again. So you're reducing the number of decisions you make. You make that decision once at the beginning of the month.
The biggest one, prepare the food for the weekend. If you're getting to a Wednesday and you've not got an idea of what's going to go on at the weekend, prepare for the shit to hit the fan. Prepare for yourself to go 4,000 calories on Saturday and Sunday. Then avoid the tracking.
This is like my ideal. Like what he's talking about there, I'm like, what is he talking about? Do you do that?
Help.
In theory, when you've got all this other stuff mastered, prepare your food for the weekend. Yes. But I can't, in all honesty, say that I've managed that one yet. That's
it's very hard.
List, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Be organised about what you're doing. So on the next slide, you can plan it out like this. You could do it on MyFitnessPal. You could literally put it in for the week. But just have an idea, whatever way that you track it, just know this is what I'm going to have at least tomorrow. But if you can do it for the week, then do it for the week as well. It's going to reduce headaches. It's going to make you feel more in control. It's going to make you. I cannot make a decision, a healthy food decision, when I finish at the gym, it's 8 o'clock, I run home, I've spent too long chatting to Mel about God knows what, I get home, Matt's like, where have you been, la la la, and now we need to make tea. I cannot make a healthy decision then. The option is then, like, get that takeaway ordered, yeah, I'll have that pizza out of the oven, I don't want to make a decision, I don't want to spend any time, I've got no effort, no energy. If I'd have meal prepped something and it was in the fridge, that would now be the easy option. I would go to the fridge, take it out, warm it up. Equally, if I deliberately plan beforehand that day that I know it's going to be a manic day and I put something in the slow cooker in the morning, now that's easier than me waiting 20 minutes for a takeaway. So make it your easy option by being organised, and again, be realistic with yourself. Today's a busy day, organise what you're going to eat beforehand. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Finito.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, thank you guys. We hope you've taken some insight from that. Is there anything that's popped up that you thought, shit, didn't know that? Or reinforced as well. I think that's a big thing for me, is reinforcement of things that we're doing.
You don't have to wait until Monday for this to happen. Diets don't start on Monday. Diets don't start. Eating healthy, why doesn't it mean that you go and spend 5 minutes tonight? What am I eating tomorrow? Could I eat this? Could I have that? Start tomorrow. Why doesn't it start on Friday? Don't go, I'm going to binge all weekend and then I'll start Monday. Do it for yourself today.
Inspiring.
Team.
Thank you, guys.
Any questions? Boom. Thank you for staying so long. I know
yeah, thank you.
Information. I know it's late on Thursday night, but yeah, we really appreciate you listening to us for our first time.
Absolutely.
Going through this kind of stuff. And equally, you might not want to give it now, but feedback in terms of the information we're giving you, the length, the way it's delivered, please let us know what you think.